WHGE 95.3 FM, the education advocacy station. Coming up, the Open Eye. Hey, Sharon. Good morning, sister. All right. Let's get them started. Check. Hey, Steve.
Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego diddling. We do so because the chains of oppression on people's minds are deep and difficult.
Hey, goddamn peace, brother. All right. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM, the education advocacy station. I'm your third eye optometrist and host, Patrice Gibbs. Okay, let's get it started. Let's get right into it. Y'all know how I feel about this. You know how I feel. Malcolm said, you can't have a positive attitude towards yourself and a negative attitude toward Africa at the same time. Too many of my people have a negative attitude towards Africa and don't want to be recognized as Africans. Stop that, y'all. Just to give you an idea why. Just a little African history this morning, all right? Portugal was one of the first European powers. One of the first European powers in Africa. They used to trade with many African nations. Later on, they tried to invade the territory of the Mutapa Empire, Zimbabwe, and take control of their wealth. But an African man stood up and inflicted them such a traumatic defeat that they never tried to invade the area again. They assumed he had superpowers. They even wrote that he could kill people just by touching their body. Yeah, he scared the hell out of them. His name was Shangamir Dumbo, founder of the Razdi Empire. Look him up. Shangamir Dumbo is the founder of the Razdi Empire. You know, there's an ideal of mythology amongst Europeans that Africa wasn't literate until the Europeans came. Straight foolishness. Europeans weren't literate until they came into contact with Africans. Not only were the Egyptians, of course, literate, okay, but they were the inventors of paper from the papyrus. Not only were they literate, But they had a society that was not with a 90% literacy rate. That was in ancient Kemet. Right here in America, our literacy rate is around 80%. Modern times, these superpower of the world and their literacy rate still doesn't touch the literacy rate of Kemet. But it wasn't just Africa. It wasn't just Kemet in Africa that was literate. All throughout Africa, there was literacy in written languages. At the same time, in Europe, maybe 5% of the populace was literate. And only those in power in the church. Most of royalty was illiterate. And you think Africans were waiting around for Europeans to make them literate? The hell out of here. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Get my disclaimer out the way.
The views and opinions expressed on the Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM, nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual.
WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Yes, Okay, as I always do, I like to start off with some history. Yes, I gave you a little bit of history. This came up because it was mentioned by my good friend, Dr. Payne. He asked me to remind him who the armed militancy group during the Civil Rights Movement that provided a lot of security to our civil rights leaders during that time. They were the Deacons for Defense and Justice. Have you heard of them? You're going to hear about them today. The Deacons for Defense and Justice. On July 10th, 1964, a group of African-American men in Jonesboro, Louisiana, led by Ernest Chili Willie Thomas and Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick, founded the group known as the Deacons for Defense and Justice to protect members of the Congress of Racial Equality, better known as CORE, against Ku Klux Klan violence. Most of the Deacons were veterans of World War II and the Korean War. The Jonesboro chapter organized its first affiliate chapter in nearby Bogalusa, Louisiana. Louisiana got some cities, got some crazy names, man. All right. It's led by Charles Sims, A.Z. Young, and Robert Hicks. Eventually, they organized a third chapter in Louisiana. The Deacons' tense confrontation with the Klan and Bogalusa was crucial in forcing the federal government to intervene on behalf of the local African-American community. The national attention they garnered also persuaded state and national officials to initiate efforts to neutralize the Klan in that area of the Deep South. Now, the interesting thing about that is the federal government wasn't willing to step in until we stood up for ourselves. The Klan running around wantonly murdering and this, that, and the other. As soon as we mounted a defense against that, here come the federal government. Wait a minute, we got you. We got this. Okay. You know. And let's look at why. Because, defending ourselves made us dangerous. They didn't want us going around giving the ideal that African Americans would stand up for themselves and take down the Klan. The Deacons emerged as one of the first visible self-defense forces in the South, and as such represented a new face of the civil rights movement. Traditional civil rights organizations remained silent on them or repudiated their activities. They were effective, however, in providing protection for local African Americans who sought to register to vote and for white and black civil rights workers in the area. The Deacons, for example, provided security for the 1966 March Against Fear from Memphis to Jackson, Mississippi. Moreover, their presence in southeastern Louisiana meant that the Klan would no longer be able to intimidate and terrorize local African Americans without challenge. The strategy and methods that the Deacons employed attracted the attention and concern of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which authorized an investigation, investigation into the group's activities. The investigation stalled, however, when more influential Black Power organizations such as US and the Black Panther Party emerged after the 1965 Watch riot. With public attention and the attention of the FBI focused elsewhere, the Deacons lost most of their notoriety and slowly declined in influence. By 1968, they were all but extinct. In 2003, the activities of the Deacons was the subject of a 2003 Deacons for Defense documentary. By all means, check that documentary out. Because, these brothers, they set the stage. They set the stage for how we need to defend ourselves. Right? My namesake said, the more closely united we are, the better we will resist oppression, corruption, and those divisive maneuvers which experts in the policy of defy and rule are resorting to. And that's a quote from Patrice Lumumba. Dig what he said. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Be back with Nsoromma. Why you doing? How you doing? Car cleaning the mud. Yeah, and then I got powering on it from the tree in my parking lot. I be done. But I pulled up just now.
Y'all what's good, y'all? You know what I'm saying? Doing what I do, doing what we do. Yeah. Sorry, I missed y'all too last week. You know what I'm saying? I was in a tactical training. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What kind of training?
Tactical training. Yeah, I ain't playing. All right. You hear what's going on? Yeah. What's going on? You reading what's there? Yeah, man.
What's
going on? Yeah, that's all right. All right. Yeah, some history now.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Studio Time with Ooze by Patrice Gibbs. That's the music you heard. Yeah, but yes, indeed. Have you ever heard of Mound? Oh, let me get Nsoromma in there. Excuse me. Have you ever heard of Mound Bayou?
Mound Bayou?
Yes.
No, I can't say I haven't.
Okay, and a lot of people haven't, but you're going to hear about it today. It's the Open Eye. You come to learn.
Okay, that's what
I
learn something every time we link up.
I heard that. Mound Bayou was the historic town in the Mississippi Delta, a historic black town. Mound Bayou, located in the central Mississippi Delta, was once a thriving haven for thousands of Black Americans during Jim Crow. Former slaves founded Mound Bayou as an all-Black town in 1887. Within it sprang up dozens of Black-owned businesses, including 2 mills, 3 cotton gins, a train station, a library, a few schools, and even a bank. A town of this magnitude was unheard of at the time, and the economic development enjoyed drew the attention of many, including President Theodore Roosevelt, who called Mound Bayou the jewel of the Delta. Such high praise from a U.S. president was warranted, seeing Mound Bayou was a former wilderness swamp. At its height, Mound Bayou was the nation's largest Black town and the most self-sufficient one in existence. 3 cousins founded Mound Bayou: Isaiah T. Montgomery, Joshua T. Montgomery, and Benjamin T. Green. And they had been slaves on the same property in Warren County known as Davis Bend Plantation.
Wow.
Their former master was Joseph Davis, older brother of Jefferson Davis. And for those of you that don't know, Jefferson Davis was president of the Confederate States. The cousins divided up the responsibilities required in establishing the town, with Isaiah Montgomery and Benjamin Green handling the business end of things,
Right.
and Joshua dealing with the legal aspect. The first order of business was securing land, and Isaiah and Benjamin accomplished that with a down payment on 840 acres in the remote rural area of Bolivar County in July 1887. Isaiah had been hired as a land agent for the Louisville, New Orleans, and Texas Railroad, as his owners were planning to build a railroad line through the Mississippi Delta, which required the establishment of towns. The rail company saw newly freed blacks as an untapped source of future revenue, particularly if they were able to establish some of these towns. Hence why Isaiah and others like him were hired as land agents. Okay. I'm going to tell you something why whites feared blacks. Because just think,
What?
at the end of slavery, the
Right.
height of racism in our country, blacks, when left to their own devices, could go and find an area, build a town, and thrive. Because at that time, we still remember the great skill that we had in managing a state and establishing a community. Okay. After the land was purchased, Isaiah and Benjamin started to recruit settlers, from which they would draw a labor force. The land was densely overgrown with trees and undergrowth that was nearly impossible to navigate without cutting implements. Beyond that, wild animals still roamed the interior, and swamp fever eventually claimed the lives of a few settlers. More and more recruits descended on the swampland. The first waves compromising ex-slaves from Davis Bend Plantation, and then former slaves hailing from the various parts of the South. Together, they did the grueling business of clearing the land. In 1907, Booker T. Washington published his account of Mound Bayou's founding, saying it was not the ordinary Negro farmer who was attracted to Mound Bayou colony. It was rather an earnest and ambitious class prepared to face the hardships of this sort of pioneer work. See, establishing a community and managing a state is not new to our people. We've forgotten that, but it's not new to our people. And let me tell you something.
What?
Downtown, skyscrapers, city planning originated where? Ancient Kemet. Ramses the Great, could tell his bureaucracy that, yeah, look, see this clear land over here? Go over there and build a city. See, most cities in Europe develop from villages.
Right.
And more people coming in, then you have to build more homes and what have you.
Right.
Okay. Ancient Kemet, they would take clear land and build a thriving metropolis within a couple of years. And when I say a thriving metropolis, I mean cities with government buildings. I mean cities with temples. I mean cities with universities.
How many people was it back then?
Well, in ancient Kemet, it was about a million people in ancient Kemet.
I mean, and all of them was working.
And all of them was
to
working.
do that. And that's how it was,
right.
And
it was not slave labor.
That's how it came together so good. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was working together.
Right. And they took pride in building these cities.
Right.
And showing
being part of it.
Right.
And being part of it.
And being part of it. And they took pride in showing the great leadership of their leaders and pharaohs such as Ramses the Great.
Right.
Look where Ramses the Great led us. That's why he is known as the great ancestor. And even though there may have been pharaohs greater than and more accomplished than Ramses, who ruled like 60 years,
right.
Okay? But he was known as the great ancestor because he took what came before him and the lessons that he learned in the long line of kingship before him and advanced the kingdom. That's why he was known as the great ancestor. Okay. Back to
Mount Bayou.
Mount Bayou. Okay. Now, even though Mount Bayou is still there, it's not the thriving community it once was.
And none of the communities that was thriving like that, they somehow always destroy them or tear them down, where there's really no evidence of the structure being, what I mean? It's it's crazy.
Yeah. But anyone who was raised in Mount Bayou enjoyed a period of prosperity. The tentacles of white supremacy were not long enough to reach into that particular black town. And Mount Bayou was even a haven from white oppression during the civil rights era. Because you went around the Mount Bayou with that KKK crap you wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah, they pop a cap up in your ass around there. I know you like that, don't you, brother?
Hey, you got to defend yourself.
Hey, that's right. I absolutely agree with that. While blacks in other parts of the South were being dragged off and lynched or beaten in broad daylight and attacked by police dogs, Mount Bayou residents could visit the various shops and black-owned businesses along their streets in peace. Students didn't have to worry about segregation or receiving an inferior education. Take note, y'all. Sick residents could be treated at the local hospital where every physician, nurse, and orderly looked like them. Discrimination was non-existent in Mount Bayou, and residents drank from any water fountain they wished.
Well, did Mount Bayou accept white people if they was hurt, or take their money if they came to shop?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
You better not come in there cutting up.
Nah, I mean, like we are now,
Mm-hmm.
and they just come in there and cut up. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. But it ain't all of them, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Some of them like the support.
Yeah. I tell you, when antagonistic whites did encroach on the oasis from time to time,
right.
Internal political strife also be having. But discrimination is or desegregation,
right,
is what really sealed the town's fate. When blacks were finally allowed to integrate with whites, many left the native towns for what they hoped were better prospects instead of building up your community.
Right. And that's how it all really crumbled.
Yeah. Yeah. And I understand that, there's a few businesses remaining there. The population is reduced.
Right.
And half the children living there are living below the poverty line. But its residents are now fighting to regain semblance of the glory the town enjoyed during this heyday.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mount Bayou.
Mount
Bayou. Example. Yes, indeed. WHGE 95.3 FM. Open
Yeah. Yo, what's good, y'all? Steven, Sherry, Jerry, yo, what's good? You know what I'm saying? Grand Rising. Yo, WYVTBD. What's that, man? Tell me what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Jerry. Jerry, how you say it? Jardale. Yo, man. I said I was going to call you Jay. Nah, that wasn't him either. That was Jane.
Oh, John.
John, yeah.
John. He has a...
what up, John?
He has a podcast.
All right. That's what's good. Check out John Podcast. WYVT-DB. You did?
All right.
You dying. Yo, you stupid.
WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building.
Hey.
Yeah, what's good, bro?
What's good, bro?
What's good?
It's all good. It's all good.
What's up, world?
Yeah. And it's going on now. I see it. I saw this this white woman talking about, how we need a black woman to advance the causes of women.
We need a black woman to advance the causes of women.
Of all women.
They never talk about the black man, man.
Nah, well, not white.
Unless he been locked up, child support, it's all kind of crap that they talk about the black man. It's never nothing that's, a positive thing. I don't get that.
Yeah, it's something that you have some women, some of our women,
right?
That fell into the trap.
It's easy to fall into now. They have it set up where they
into feminism, into white women's feminism. All right. And one of the earliest during the 70s, white women to try to pull black women away from our own struggle was Gloria Steinem.
Gloria Steinem?
Steinem. Yeah, she had a magazine, what was it called? Ms. Okay. And, her thing was that, men are oppressing women. Whether they're black or white, they're oppressing women. And then let me tell you who this hussy was. Or is, because I think she's still living. Gloria Steinem, she first came across the radar of black men in 1978 when Steinem put a book called Black Macho and the Myth of the Superwoman on the cover of Ms. Magazine, the magazine which she controlled. Okay. The book was written by a black feminist and activist named Michelle Wallace, who came out of nowhere. Wallace was in her early 20s at the time. Yet she was being touted as the leader of black feminism. In the book, Wallace called abolitionists like Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth ugly and stupid for supporting black men. See, she should have lost all you sisters right there.
But, she didn't mean it.
No, the hell. Yeah. And she called black revolutionaries chauvinist macho pigs and advised black women to go it alone.
I don't understand, right? Not to cut you off right here, but it seemed like this is the appropriate time to say that every other nationality has their own army. And every time we either get together to create our own army, it's some type of problem that goes on that we can't get our own army together. We can't defend our own people. We can't defend ourselves.
And why is that? Because they practice this divide and conquer like they did right here.
Wow.
Okay. Gloria Steinem said that Wallace's book would define the future of black relationships. And here this white woman comes with this young, inexperienced black girl who's going to define the relationship between black and white women. I mean, between black women and black men.
And she ain't even been in a relationship herself.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. Black couples have been thriving and doing their thing and working together for centuries for our freedom. See, what Gloria Steinem's work did was trigger a flood of hate black men, books and films that continues to this day. Needless to say, some were quite suspicious of Miss Magazine and Gloria Steinem. What was Steinem doing, sticking her nose into the affairs of the black community? So people started doing some research on this wench.
Right.
When it came out, Gloria Steinem was probably the ghostwriter of the book that had Michelle Wallace's name on it. So there's suspicion that this young black chick didn't even write this book, but it was written by Gloria Steinem, a white woman, teaching black women to hate black men.
And your boy John said, she was an FBI informant.
That's why I was coming around.
Big up, John. You know what's going on? Yeah,
he knew who this hussy was.
And that's what they do. They strategically put them in place to throw us off.
Right. And you know what happened to this Michelle Wallace?
What?
She had a nervous breakdown and went into hiding for 2 years because she knows she effed up. But the damage was already done and the hate black men movement was off and running. But the research in the Gloria Steinem background continued. Okay, and let me tell you what came up from different researchers. Bottom line, the so-called black feminist movement was created and manipulated by the CIA from the very beginning. You see, you see that's what John was saying. The only difference between black revolutionaries and black feminists on this issue is that the black revolutionaries know they were infiltrated and manipulated. Right. But black feminists were still unwilling to admit that they were infiltrated and manipulated, largely because they are highly invested in the hateful brand of black feminism. As a result, the hate black men movement has become, more than just a political point of view. It's now a central part of the culture of black women. And this fact has led to the destruction of the black revolution and complete distortion of black relationships, and the CIA had a direct hand in creating that situation.
They always do.
She was a CIA agent, and everything Gloria Steinem did or ever done throughout her thought life has been under the direction of the CIA. Or she FBI. She was recruited before she even graduated from high school.
Wow.
Sister Tracy said, white feminists protest their mistreatment from white men. They rarely speak out when these very white men kill our daughters and gun down our sons. I don't see them bringing attention to all the black girls and black women who are missing. I haven't heard a word from them concerning cops manhandling our teenage girls. Where these white women at then? Their outrage and subsequent actions are reserved for white men, not giving them equal pay, treating them as second-class citizens. Mm-hmm. And they don't speak up and act when our families are experiencing tyranny. Why are we expending energy to fight their battle? Is not black feminist an oxymoron? It damn sure is. Dr. Clark said it was in Africa that the woman rode at the head of her army. It was in Africa that the woman headed a state for the first time. It was in Africa that a woman became a god for the first time. Right. And you get hung up with white women's lid that doesn't have a damn thing to do with you at all. Dr. Clark. The black woman. Our history shouts the black woman has been key to our survival in the oppressed African colony in America. True. Who possesses the eloquence to sufficiently express how important the Nubian queen is and has been to the black man in America? She's our mother, our primary nurturer, our first teacher. She's our sister. She sacrificed her dignity, body, and soul to save us from the master's whip and noose. Who else is more suitable for us in marriage? Who else can understand our frustrated, oppressed spirit and soothe our tattered soul? The Nubian queen is the field from which the black man must produce our future. It is for the aforementioned reason that black men should become incensed whenever we see black women not afforded the respect and dignity commensurate with her contribution to our survival as a people. Oh yeah, I know you want her. I don't blame you. She can change your life with her smile. Even when being modest, her walk can stop traffic. She can look at you and make you drop to your knees and thank God you're a man. Her embrace is paradise. There is no one else like her. God, I love the African queen.
And yo, man, who shoulder do she lean on?
The black man. And she should. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye.
Yeah. John, you stupid. Hey, Jared Jardale. Yo, okay. Jadia. What? Jadia.
Jardea.
Oh, Jardea. Okay. All right. Look, you tripping me out, yo. All right. Quit playing. Hey, John. I know I'm early. Yo, you know what's good, bro. Hey, I got you now. Jardea. Hey, yeah, John. I'm still here. I was early. I can't. I think I was 10 minutes late. You know what I mean? I live far.
Right, all right. WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm sure by now you heard of the Justins in Tennessee.
The Justins in Tennessee? Actually, I haven't, man.
Yeah, you know the two brothers, they were kicked out of the Tennessee legislature. Representative Justin Pearson and Justin Jones. Okay. Because they stood up with the young people that came and marched on the Capitol about gun violence. Because in Memphis, you know, or it was in Nashville, they had the shooting where, 3 children were killed and three Democrats in the legislature stood up and spoke out against this. The Justins, and that included a white woman. Now, what they did was the legislature voted to expel all 3 of them. And when the votes came up,
right,
only 2 people got expelled, the 2 black men, but the white woman was not expelled. And she only escaped expulsion by 1 vote. Okay, was still racist as hell.
No, because that 1 vote was her vote.
It wasn't her vote.
No, but I'm saying
it
was a setup. Don't.
Let me. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
It sounds like a setup, and I ain't even know nothing about it.
Yeah, I know it sounds like a setup, you know. But the thing is, it was just normal racism, normal white supremacy.
Everybody should have got
expelled.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like I said, it was just normal white supremacy. You know, even though the white woman messed up as far as they was concerned. They were more concerned with getting them black men out of there. Well, they were reinstated.
Wow.
Okay,
they should have been.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And people power. This is what Justin Pearson said. People power just sent us back to save the people of District 86. Okay, and Representative Jones, he was reinstated to his position on Monday. However, the fact that all that happened spells trouble for black Americans in Tennessee and across the United States. Because what Tennessee basically did was they set a precedent on how to get rid of black people in their state legislatures when they are dominated by white Republicans. Okay. But here's the thing. Okay. And they should have been reinstated and they should speak up. But I took a look at these brothers, you know, and I hope that these brothers do start to speak up on issues that affect the black community. Now, the thing was, somebody looked at one of these brothers' website, and there was nothing on there about reparations. Okay? Now, he was asked about this. And when he was asked about this, black Democrats came out and said, oh, the reporter that asked him about this was picking on him. Okay? Now, when he was asked about this, he said he was in favor of reparations, but he immediately pivoted to issues that include, you know, people of color and the LGBT and trans people and this, that, and the other interests. Other people's interests.
Yeah. And
not concentrating on our own.
Right.
Now, I don't want to get it mixed because I'm not sure which one of them. I get the 2 of them mixed up. They're both Justins. With Justin Pearson.
Is that the boy with the afro?
The boy with the afro.
And it look like that's a wig.
No, it's his hair.
It's his hair.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
And his power fist was kind of shady.
Yeah.
It was some shit. I mean, you know, me being in the streets like I always been all my life and really seeing real recognize real. That is a real saying.
Like you said, his power fist was bullshit.
Yeah, so I'm like, y'all can't see this because y'all on the radio, but Facebook, you stupid. But anyway,
And let me tell you something. Okay. Now, all people, he got called out by Tucker Carlson. White nationalist on Fox News. Okay. All right. And, you know, I have no respect for Tucker Carlson. He's nothing but a spoiled rich kid.
Right.
He has no talent. He has no real skill. He's nothing but a white supremacist.
Comedian.
Yeah, basically
Yeah,
on
right.
Fox News. That's what he is.
Comedian.
That's what he is, you know. But I looked at Mr. Pearson's speech in college.
Okay.
You know, and he gave a speech of representatives and so on and so forth. And furthermore, and what have you. Yeah. Then he gets in front of a crowd of black people and he talking like he was a minister. We're gonna do what we're gonna do for the black people. Straighten up your fist, brother. See, this is what I don't like when I don't like code switching.
And that's recognizing real recognize real.
Right.
It's no switching in real. You're always the same.
That's word. Let me tell you, two of the most articulate men to ever address the world on the public stage,
right,
was Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Right.
And there was no doubt by the way that they articulated that these were black men.
Right.
As eloquent as they were. There was no doubt when you heard those voices, you was hearing the voice of a black man that felt our community.
Right.
Okay? There was nothing phony about them. And when you get in front of a bunch of black people and talk differently to them than you talk to a bunch of white people, you can go to hell. Boom!
But that ain't a real bad one.
No, it ain't real bad
that
one.
slide. I couldn't let that slide.
Boom! Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. Yeah, because I'm not feeling that code switching.
I mean, see, and they the kind of people that be put in positions to switch up on us.
Okay.
And we'll go vote for, what would he saying? And
so on and so forth. Right here, we're going to do this for, yes indeed, for our black people. Right? He ain't said a damn thing. He gave us a lot of performance art, but he didn't say a damn thing about policies that affect the black community.
I mean, the way you was doing, I thought he was, auditioning for power.
Yeah, he act like he's auditioning for TD Jakes' job.
Something, you know what I'm saying?
And see, this is the thing, because Democrats have put out a directive to their people running for office or trying to stay in office. When you get to the Asian community, talk about their economy. Okay, when you get to the LGBT community and the alphabet people, talk about how they're going to be protected in school.
Yeah, yo.
Okay, when you get to the black community, talk about how close we are to God in our suffering. Amen.
And nothing about what we need as a people to be a solid structure.
Right. Nothing about our economy, reparations, police brutality.
Right.
How we're treated in healthcare.
Right.
Right. I have a sister right now that's a friend of mine that lives in Chester. Now they brought up environmental discrimination, which is a problem. But the way they brought it up was, we're going to fix environmental discrimination and it's going to help everybody. Fix your fist, brother.
And that's where I would say that power fist was kind of shaky.
Kind of shaky.
Kind of shaky too. You dumb, yo.
Because we have communities in Chester that are suffering from environmental racism that is giving people in that community cancer and killing them. That nobody's willing to talk about. But you want to talk about some environmental shenanigans going on. It's affecting everybody. And we're going to straighten it out.
Nah, but it's affecting us worse too. They always put everybody in a black person's situation. And then when they have a situation, they don't include us in their situation. So we're always out in the rain, for say. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we need to build our own buildings so we can get out the rain.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Big time.
Seriously.
Like I said, that's why knowing the history of places like Mound Bayou is so important. Okay?
Yeah.
Because when they come to us, they're coming to us with a bag.
And bad intentions.
Thank you, Nsoromma. WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yeah. And what's good, Cole? I see you. You cooking today? You got something popping? You got the truck going on? Yeah. Fill the belly. If you in Millington, Delaware or Millington, Maryland, stop in at Fill the Belly. Yo, the food is unbearable. You know, I mean, you'll always want to go back to there. You dig me? Fill the Belly. Hey, yo, all right, what's good? Who else hollered at us? Hey, you got the code switch for work. What that mean?
We're gonna deal with that. All right.
Oh, you close.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Who said they had the code switch for work?
Ed, what's good, Ed?
I feel you, brother. I feel you.
Girl.
Oh, it's a girl? Okay, I feel you, sister. I know a lot of our people on the job. Look, we seen our parents do it.
Yeah.
We seen our parents code switch, all right?
I mean, sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah.
Fit in where you get in that.
Mm-hmm. But see, when Aunt Myrna called, right? My mom answered, "Hey, Myrna, what's up, girl? How you doing?" You know, this, that, and the other. Right? When the insurance man called or her job called, my mother answered, "Oh, good afternoon. Oh, I'm very pleasant, and how are you?" You know, until they said something slick, right? They said something slick to my mom. Oh, all that code switching went right out the window. That's word. All that. Look, I remember this white man might have heard me tell this story before. This white man called my mom on the phone. He's part of the company and asked her if she was a colored gal. My mother said, "The hell you say? You know what? You want to keep your job?" He didn't know my mom was the boss. She told him, "You want to keep your job? You know, bring your ass up here to my office and stand up here and give me a proper apology, or you're going to be one unemployed Southern white boy." And that's what he had to do. Mm-hmm. Well, as we go on, it's something that, of course, we're not recognized as human. Of course, you know, I recognize that we as Black people are Africans living in America, colonized in our own communities. Well, you know, I say like this, and you might have heard me say before that, you know, I'm a Black American, I'm a citizen here, what have you. Mm-hmm. And Malcolm told us, he said, look, you can't call yourself an American if you're not getting the rights of American. You go to a restaurant, right, and you sit at a table with a bunch of people and everybody gets a plate, but you can't call yourself a diner because you ain't getting no dinner. Okay? So what you have to understand is we are POWs in America, but we still fight for the right to be recognized as having the rights of anybody else here. Mm-hmm. I bring this up because this thing that happened in Farmingville, New York, where a mother has filed a discrimination claim against a white teacher accused of categorizing her teen's hair as ethnic and her own hair as American and normal. I wish that had been my daughter. I went over there and taught that teacher about what was normal. The parent said her daughter, as the only African-American girl in the class, was left feeling embarrassed by the teacher's comment. The 17-year-old senior was attending a cosmology class at Satcham East High in Long Island, New York, when the alleged comment was made about her hair. It happened in the fall semester of 2022. The remarks made the teen feel un-American, the suit claims. Okay. The girl's mother, Cindy Cole, then hired a civil rights attorney, Andrew Lee, who filed a discrimination complaint on behalf of her teen with the New York State Division of Human Rights. The claim asserts her teen's civil rights were violated by the teacher. During the class, her hair texture came up, and the teacher said the teen's hair was ethnic. My daughter said, "So if my hair is ethnic, then you know what type of hair do you have?" And she told my daughter she had American hair. She had normal hair. "Well, you know, I'm an American too," said the teen. "Well, there are different textures of hair. And I would love to know, what is American hair? What is that? I would really love to know. What is normal hair? Sister, young sister, I'm going to tell you what American hair is. It's fur. That's what the hell it is.
Yo, you dumb, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the hell it is. It's fur.
I mean, I look at it deeper than just that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a self-esteem thing.
Mm-hmm.
That teacher shouldn't work again.
No, she shouldn't.
And I just say that because she's dampening and really disrespecting, the culture.
Yeah.
And if you're a teacher, you're supposed to teach. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your personal feelings have nothing to do with the growth of our kids' minds.
Mm-hmm.
And they dampen the growth of our kids' mind by saying subliminal things that make them go, or like, what? Did she just say that? You know, and that shouldn't even be in school because it's a learning environment.
Right.
You know?
Right. You know, and, you know, it's something, you know, as a result of conversation like this, Covington said her daughter felt like she was an outcast in the classroom and no longer felt comfortable in the class.
Yeah.
And mother said the teen also started asking to wear wigs to school and requesting to have her hair straightened.
Right.
I hope you straightened your daughter out.
Right.
I hope you straightened your daughter out. You know, and, you know, this is actually a violation of New York's Crown Act, which stands for creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. All right. And they you know, in the Empire State, hair discrimination can be seen as a form of racial discrimination.
Most definitely.
You know,
it is.
It is.
Basically.
It is. You know, and see what this teacher did was she othered this child because she was already feeling some kind of way being the only black child in the class.
Right.
And so now she's going to make her feel abnormal.
Right.
Because she doesn't have hair like the rest of
and
the white
that's strategically done all the time.
All the time.
By these so-called
educated,
indoctrinated teachers.
How about that? How about that? Because see, what would have happened had that been me, and that had been my child, I'd have went in there and let that teacher know, first of all, your ignorant ass is not qualified to be a teacher. That's the first thing. Because you're so ignorant that you would tell this child that her hair is un-American. And that you would other her. Instead of opening this child's mind and making her understand that there's nothing wrong, inherently wrong, about the texture of her hair.
Wow.
You know? That's word. You know, and I tell you, the teacher and the school apologized for the comments. And they're also pushing sensitivity training to be implemented. You know what? You can't sensitivity train. Yeah. Some insensitive
we gotta not accept their I'm sorry's,
right.
And dig in their pockets and sue them and make sure they won't be able to teach for 4 or 5 years, and if you were able to ever come back to teach it, because that's not right. We need to put people within these educational systems that's wanting a prosperous America, and it starts with our kids. Our kids are our future, and they be just stumping on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trying to feed them all kind of negative stuff through music, through religion. I mean, it's just they on an attack for our youth for real.
Yes,
you know, our age, you already can't do nothing with us. We already ready to go. We already been to war. You want war? Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah. So they ain't ready for our generation, but the generation under us, if it's no more warriors coming up and doing and knowing how the process is, it's gonna be a slavery thing all over again, and it's gonna be happening like that, man.
You know, and that's why we do what we do, to keep us educated, to offset the indoctrination, and to remove the change from your mind.
My homegirl said, "Yo, y'all sound like y'all." Y'all sound like y'all TTG. And
TTG.
TTG. I was like, what? She said, train together. I told you I just had training too, man.
Yeah, that's word. And,
hey,
it's something that
something's coming.
My brother, like you said, he's had training, right? Of course, I was trained as a revolutionary from my mother on the way coming up, okay? And I have a little extra training from the military.
Right.
Don't get it mixed. You don't want to go there.
Right.
That's word.
We can defend ourselves.
What we got to do is we first have to define what exactly is a revolution. Our crisis today is that we do not seem to understand that a revolution means a complete change.
And that's coming.
Yeah. In a revolution, you do not patch an old society. You replace an old society. When a society has grown weak, fat, and flabby and fails to serve its people, the conscious role of those who have suffered from that society is not to prop up the society, but to change that society in such a way that it will never be the same again.
Right.
And that's a quote from Dr. John Henry Clark. Okay? You've thrown off the shackles. You've debunked the myth. You've opened your eye. You're woke. Now what? Many of our people are not ready for the responsibility of revolution and nationhood. There will be casualties. Some of us are not going to make it.
Some of us ain't making it now. We ain't doing nothing.
You know what? I'm all right with that. Because some of us don't need to. And it's not easy to put you in shackles. It was not easy to do that. What the hell makes you think it's going to be easy to remove them? Every night I petition the ancestors for guidance. And every morning the ancestors charge me to sound the alarm. I know we had the plan because the ancestors gave it to me and I wrote it down. We have the personnel, the funds, and the plan. Now all we need is the goddamn nerve. Boom! Never forget what Garvey taught us. That intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries the burden. Therefore, remove yourself as far as possible from ignorance and seek as far as possible to be intelligent. Read a book. Read one of mine. It's not illegal. Yet, pay attention because there's details to this thing. To wage war, to start a revolution, the proper steps have to be taken. These are the rules of revolution. Vision, planning, clarity of purpose. We got to know what the hell we want. Collective purpose, collective trust. We got to believe in each other. And most importantly, unity. These have been the ingredients of every successful revolution. Furthermore, there must be dedication to the point of ruthlessness. Okay? Sun Tzu said, in the practical art of war, the best thing of all is to take the enemy's country whole and intact. And we can do that.
China trying to do that to us.
Yeah.
Russia trying to do that to us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a game. They trying to get the United States. The dollar ain't worth nothing. It's on. That changes now. Mm-hmm. It's here.
Mm-hmm.
That revolution is upon us.
It's upon us.
And it's everybody involved. But who's going to get it the worst?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
man. Let me tell you. The general that is skillful in attack leaves his opponent not knowing what to defend. See, in their arrogance, we can attack this adversary on fronts. He is too comfortable or arrogant to even consider defending or doesn't even feel the need for alarm. And that's the tactic on the road to conquering. We have the capability. We can do it.
And the only thing we have to do is, like my boy Jadea said, organize, organize, organize.
Yes, indeed.
We have to organize.
Mm-hmm. We're not outgunned. We're out organized. We're out organized. You got to change that. And as we always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you and don't treat those as a priority.
Who treat you as an option.
I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma.
This has been
WHGE 95.3 FM.
The Open Eye.
Yaga.
Thanks for joining us.
Y'all. Hey, yo. Thank y'all for hanging in there. Yo, Vaughn, what's good? I see you, bro. Ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yo, thanks. You know what it is. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's your boy. Hey, yo, Pat, tell them what's up.
Hey. What I always tell you, I'm going to break this down for y'all next week. Global African supremacy. Because the world was a much better place when the African ruled the world. Everybody ate.
Nsoromma streaming all platforms. Go get that. Yeah. Peace.
Thanks, Jordan.